Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2020 Ontario Time Attack e-racing series, Overtake the Apex, for event number 3. Overtake the Apex is presented to you by Ontario Time Attack. As Ontario's premier grassroots time attack series, we love driving anything from straight out of the showroom cars all the way to purpose-built track machines. Come out and race against the clock with us. Find out more at time-attack.ca, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Ontario Time Attack to keep up with our announcements. If you enjoy watching these videos, please help us out by giving us a like and smashing that subscribe button on the bottom right corner of the screen. Don't forget to hit the bell button to be alerted of new content on this channel as well. Many thanks to our partner and server host for tonight's event, Pinnacle Advanced Driving Academy. Operating out of Toronto Motorsports Park, they are a private track school that caters to both newbies who have never been to the racetrack, all the way to folks who participate in Time Attack and want more critical feedback to cut down those lap times. Check them out on Instagram at Pinnacle Driving Academy and their website, www.pinnacledriving.com, for more details. Don't forget to sign up using promo code SPRING25 before the end of April to receive $25 off. That's $25 off if you use promo code SPRING25. Ontario Time Attack is proudly sponsored by Automoves, dependable vehicle shipping; Toyo Tires, driven to perform; NV Auto, build, tune, race, repeat; GRP, Johnston Research and Performance; Mobile One. With 20 years of supporting OTA, we couldn't have made it where we are today without you, Mobile One. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And now for a quick public service announcement.
COVID-19 is a serious public health threat. All Canadians must act now to reduce the spread. Avoid crowded places and practice social distancing. Avoid non-essential travel and stay home as much as possible. Self-isolate if you may have been exposed to COVID-19. Stay connected with neighbors, friends, and family. When you take care of yourself, you take care of others.
A message from the Government of Canada.
Tonight's main event schedule is as follows. There's 30 minutes of practice time, which our drivers are currently in, followed by 15 minutes of qualifying time. And based on this qualifying time, the drivers are graded from fastest to slowest and given 15 minutes of race time for race number 1. Race number 2 will occur immediately after, but this time drivers are graded in reverse order based on their finishing order in the race number 1 up to the 10th position. This is a new twist, folks. So if you finished in first place in race number 1, you start in 10th place for race number 2. Finish in second in race number 1, you will start in 9th place for race number 2. As you can see here on our points distribution chart on the right, points in the first race weigh more than the second race to prevent sandbagging. Being a time attack series, we also award points for top 3 qualifying times. The car for tonight's Spec Series race is the 2010 BMW Z4 in GT3 racing variant. Unlike its consumer version, this Z4 gets a massive upgrade in the form of a 4-liter 8-cylinder engine and not the standard 6-banger. At 530 brake horsepower and 520 Nm of torque, this racing machine can hit speeds of up to 280 km per hour or 174 miles per hour. On top of the big numbers, this engine is also remarkably smooth with a linear power delivery and over 62% of its torque delivered in just under 2,000 RPM. The designers of the Z4 GT3 specifically slotted the monstrous V8 first in order to meet racing specifications before dropping in all of the components like the suspension and cooling. The front axle of the Z4 GT3 is also a completely new design based on a series concept. The car is also equipped with a tubular stabilizer bar with adjustable blades and a rear axle designed as a longitudinal link. With carbon fiber reinforced plastics gracing both front and rear wings, hood, roof, fender, and many other components, the Z4 GT3 comes in at just 1,265 kilos, giving it a weight-to-power ratio of 2.38 kilos per horsepower. Furthermore, the design team had access to computational fluid dynamics, thus refining the sleek body of this car for stability at high speeds it can attain. And boy, we'll be getting those speed limits here today, folks. Welcome back. I'm your host, Kevin Wong, the Chief Timer of Ontario Time Attack. On today's recurring segment, Turn by Turn, let's take a hot lap around tempo speed known as Monza. Standing at just under 5.8 kilometers, Monza holds a record for the fastest circuit on the F1 calendar. Our competitors will start with a 1.12 kilometer front straight before hitting turns 1 and 2, Variante del Rettifilo, or Rettifilo chicane, a prime area for passing. Finding and hitting your braking point is critical to its entry, as it could mean holding on to first or falling out of the podium. Riding the curbs is key to maintain as much mechanical grip as possible to start putting the power down quickly. The reason for this is just past the second apex, which leads to a long right-hander that is turn 3, the Curva Grande. With a full head of steam, our competitors will land onto turn 4, the second chicane, also known as Variante de la Roja, and yet again riding the curbs to maintain as much speed as possible for the short straight after. Coming into Curva de Lesmo, turns 6 and 7, our drivers will have to brake slightly, tuck into the apex of the first part of Lesmo, the sharpest of the two, and track out all the way left onto its curves. Nailing this will bring up the second, gentler part in no time, and once again, the curbs are your friends to maintain as much grip as possible to put that power down. This leads to a long slight left that is often called Seraglio curve, but not officially listed as a term. Throwing one of the biggest tests of finesse on this track is Variante Ascari, comprised of turns 8, 9, and 10. Situational awareness is key here, as it can make for great passing opportunities or crashes. The triple punch combo, lap after lap, is sure to separate those who can do it once and those who can do it repeatedly. Surviving this will take you up the back straight, past the Fossi Pack grandstands on the left, just as you enter the track's signature turn, the Curva Parabolica. This turn is initially tight, but the payoff of perfectly lining up the car is its slowly unwinding track with incredible opportunities to put the power down as early as possible and rock it to the finish line. There you have it, folks. One hot lap around Monza. To add a little bit of interaction for our viewers tonight, I've decided to add a new game segment called Find That Driver, FTD. I came up with that all by myself, can you tell? Anyways, I'll do a quick rundown of OT competitor, and you, the audience, will have to call out when you spot him or her in this live stream. He or she can appear at any moment during the entirety of the stream, so keep your eyes open. For tonight, I'll make it a little easier and give you one clue. He or she will appear after this point in time in the stream. Viewers can comment on live chat with your guesses, or for those of you who view this after it airs, you can put your answers in the comments below. Contest closes at Sunday, 11:59 Eastern. Alright, so let's play this. Our target for tonight is a proud team member of General Motors. This first-time competitor managed to attend 5 out of 7 events in the 2019 OTA season. He drives a 2015 Subaru BRZ and slots into OTA's Grand Touring 4 class. Having podium in his class in all 5 events and winning the class in 3 out of 5, Patrick Alex snagged the coveted Rookie of the Year for 2019, as well as other awards. You can find him on Instagram at Patrick Drives, where you'll find stuff like this. Alright folks, you have your target, now see if you can find him in the stream tonight. A quick recap for event number 2 at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park Grand Prix track. For race number 1, Val Di Pietro takes first place, followed by a strong finish from Daniel Kokar, and chasing him down is Gilbert Kaya. For race number 2, Philip Oliveira takes the top spot, and right behind him is Jay Wen, and then Val Di Pietro. With those finishes, Val Di Pietro currently sits in first place with a commanding 70 points. Jordan Bazugli sits in second, with only 3 points separating him and third place, however, Daniel Kokar. Gilbert Kaya is still in the hunt for a podium position with 28 points, followed by Shane Shepard, Sean McPhee, Nathan Hodgins, Joseph Yang, Philip Oliveira, and in 10th place, the enigmatic Snow Ninja. Who is this guy? Last I checked, the White Ninjas in certain Cartoon Army series were the bad guys. Is he one of them? Who knows? Anyways, as you can see on the top left, we'll be stacking the best track times attained during qualifying as well, since we are, after all, a time attack series in real life. Alright, with all that out of the way, let's go to the track and check out what our drivers are up to. Alright, welcome aboard folks. Our drivers are currently in, again as I previously mentioned, currently in practice, so let's take a look and see who's currently here. Currently on board with Doug Newman, chasing down. Again, this is strictly practice, so drivers are still getting used to their cars, the tracks, and the setup. There's a limited spec setup. Even though it is a spec series, they can change their alignment, change the tire pressures, and play with some minimal adjustments there. So folks can just dial in their setup throughout 30 minutes of play. There's currently just under 20 minutes left before qualifying starts at around 8:30ish. So again, nothing here matters. The guys can just play around with their settings, get a feel for the course. There's a total of 23 drivers on board tonight, so it should make for a very interesting chicanes. Let's put it this way, for this track at Monza. Going to Parabolica, which is a very interesting current turn because it's an increasing radius. It's tight initially and opens up. It'll really separate the guys that can carve every ounce of space from that one winding turn, because it's a long straight here, folks. Very long straight, and these cars will actually top out their speedometers if they hit it right. As mentioned in the track turn by turn section, we're going into now turn 1, Prima Variante. Interesting chicane because it leads into turn 3, which is a long right-hander. So that should really allow people to carve up a lot of speed. Again, I'm not sure what's the front here doing, because this is practice, so they aren't really racing. So again, folks are just getting used to their setup. For those of you just joining us for the first time, welcome aboard. This is the Ontario Time Attack e-racing series, Overtake the Apex. This is a series that runs every week on Thursdays for the main event, and Tuesdays is the qualifying race for the Thursday event. We now have 2 streams. Yep, we now have 2 streams a week. So join us on Tuesdays at 8 or Thursdays at 8 for the main event. Let's hop on with something else. Joseph Yang just posted a new personal best at a minute 49.281. But again, he seems to be pulling over, so that's not fun. Let's try to find someone that's trying to put a hot lap in. Gilbert Kaya. There we go. Let's see what he does. Again, for those of you just joining us, this is strictly the practice session. The drivers have 30 minutes of practice. Typically, qualifying for the main race will start at 8:30ish. So the drivers just getting used to the cars, getting used to the setup, the track conditions, and the weather in general. The car is a spec series BMW Z4 GT3, and there is minimal amounts of adjustment, but you can still play around with things like tire pressures, alignment. So folks will be playing around with that and trying to see what they can carve out of every ounce of speed. Monza is the fastest circuit in the F1 calendar, so in fact, these cars, these Z4s in practice on Tuesday, were actually topping out their speedometers on the front straight. So definitely lots of speed, lots of aerodynamics on this car too. It will, you will notice the car handles very good at speed. But the tricky part about today's course with this car is that turns 1 and 2 and 4 and 5, the 2 slowest chicanes, is actually very hard to drive in this car because of the way how the car is wide and the aero doesn't really do any effect. So it's going to be interesting. But Ascari, on the other hand, which is a very fast chicane, will really separate the boys from the men. Coming down the main straight, again, with coming out of Parabolica being an increasing radius turn, every ounce of space on the left there will determine how much you can put down the gas. And in the past, when it used to have gravel there, a lot of drivers would go off. But now that they've paved it over, it's far more tempting to get all that speed coming out of the main Parabolica into the main straight and into turn 1. Turn 1 is an incredibly good passing zone because if you can try to essentially cheat on the braking to try to see if you can outbrake your opponent. However, if you do go in way too hot, then you'll really get some penalties of going through the curb essentially. So it's a really big gamble to go through Parabolica, go through the first chicane. Super hot. Rouge is another slow corner. Again, with these cars, with the aerodynamics they have, they actually benefit from high-speed corners, but the first 2 chicanes are actually considered low speed. Curva de Lesmo, which our driver is currently in, is actually a very quick corner, so aerodynamics will play a role. And then coming into the slight left, that is Seraglio. This is not officially listed as a turn. However, the fans still call it Curva del Seraglio. Now this goes into the fastest chicane of all, Variante d'Ascari. So let's see how Gilbert does. Ooh, hit the curb there a little too hard and probably threw up the car a little bit. The thing with online racing too, one of the things that come to factor is that there is a little bit of lag sometimes between the client side and the server side, so you might see the occasional clipping happening. Going into Parabolica, let's see how Gilbert handles this. Good entry and good use, full use of this exit, and yeah, flat on the gas all the way to the end. He should top out his speedometer with that kind of exit. 6-speed sequential transmission on these vehicles, so no real H pattern on this. Going into turn 1. Very slow corner here, folks. Full use of the curb and flat out. Yeah, there he goes. Currently, we still only have 12 drivers on the server. Again, this guys for just if you're just joining us, this is strictly the practice session. Nothing here is going to mean anything. Guys are just getting used to their cars, getting used to the setups. If you want to tweak it with it, this is the perfect time. And then around 8:35 Eastern, we will switch into official qualifying. That's when things ante up a notch. Now, whatever times they pull there will reflect their gridding in the race number 1, which usually happens around 8:45-ish. So, folks, the times that you see right now, they don't really matter. Folks are just getting used to their setups. But in qualifying, the lowest time we saw was, I think, a minute 48.2, which is insanely quick for these cars. Let's hop in with... Oh, Gilbert takes a little spill there. But again, folks, this is strictly practice, so this doesn't matter. Let's hop in with Daniel Santibanez and see what he does. Oh, and just a quick update. Joseph Yang just posted a new personal best at a minute 49.1. Going through Parabolica. Again, this is an increasing radius turn, so every ounce of curb, every ounce of time you can spend on wide open throttle in these cars will carry as much speed down as front straight. Races have been lost because of Parabolica. Coming into turn 1. One of essentially the slowest part of the race, really. Prima Variante. See how Daniel makes use. Yeah, full use of the curb, flat out through exit. Coming in through Biasono, little wide there. Again, there's a bit of a gamble there in terms of, do you want to go wide and, travel more distance but rack up potentially more speed, or just travel least amount of distance? These cars do have the aero and the grip to essentially just be wide out, flat out through 3, so my gut says probably stay tight, but we'll see. I'm just a commentator after all. Oh, it goes a little wide coming out of Lesmo. First part of Lesmo. So he decides to pop in the pits to get a new car. Let's hop in with Philip Oliveira from Driver Mod. Philip is also a writer for drivermod.ca, so he typically blogs about car culture around the GTA, and essentially he's also attended other races like Grid Life. So I know Terry Time Attack as well. So let's see how he does. Going through the first part of Lesmo. Ooh, goes a little bit on the grass, but manages to hold on. Second part of Lesmo, which is actually the wider part. First part is actually pinches a little bit more, but the second one opens up a little bit more slightly to the left. Going down Seraglio. Big long straight. And into the fastest chicane of all, Ascari. Mounts the curve beautifully. May have upshifted a little earlier there, but nope, full use of the curb on exit. Looks like someone's hunting him down in the rearview mirror, though. Again, this, folks, this is just joining us. This is strictly the practice session. Drivers are still getting used to their cars, the setups, and they're not. This is not for anything for gridding purposes. This is strictly getting used to the cars, the track, the setup. At around 8:35, the server will switch over to official qualifying, and that's when you will try to chase down your best time for a gridding position. Let's see how Philip handles turn one. Got someone right up behind him. So far, it's been fairly clean. Again, this is strictly practice, so there should be no real wheel-to-wheel happening here. The drivers do have to install certain mods to have... Oh, that's Val Di Pietro behind him. Oh, but Val decides to go into the grass. But going back to my point earlier, the drivers do have to have vision mods installed on their Assetto Corsa. Given that this is virtual racing, the vision might be less for some folks that don't have triple monitors. So you have to install a mod called Heli Corsa, which is a radar around the car. It'll tell you if cars are to your immediate right or left. And there's also another app called Real Time, which tells you how many, if you're, for example, stopped on the track, how many seconds left before the next car arrives on you. That way you don't re-enter a hot track and then wind up in front of a really fast car. And Monza is the fastest circuit in the F1 calendar, so we don't want someone crashing because someone decided to enter the track at a poor time. Going into Ascari, I believe. Yes. Good use of the curb, just as before. Good clean exit. Now, let's see how he handles Parabolica. Ooh, missed his apex and forced to go wide there, but still trying to put the power down. Now, that would have been an interesting situation on a race because someone could have pinched the apex and possibly taken him on the inside, but Phil may have just tried to hit the gas and try to power out of that one. So currently we have a lot more drivers joining in. Again, this is strictly practice. Guys don't have to join necessarily on time. They could just usually hop on at around 8:30 when the server switches over to the official qualifying. Guys are just getting used to their cars, the tracks, playing around with their alignment, the tire pressures. This is a Spec Series race. The drivers are driving a BMW Z4 GT3 race variant, specifically a 2010 vintage. Let's hop in with someone else for now. Looks like Shane Shepard. And let's see how he does. Going into turn one. Oh, looks like Joseph Yang has just hit a new personal best at a minute 48.7. Again, that's strictly in practice. Question is, can he pull that off in qualifying? There's currently about 10 minutes left in practice. Going into the Roja. Keeping it clean. Oh, goes into dirt a little bit on the second. Oh, and he decides to pull over, possibly getting a new car or something like that. Again, folks, this is just strictly practice. So guys can play around with approaches, alignments, tire pressures. So nothing really here matters. So let's hop in with Jordan Bazugli. Going into Parabolica. Good apex, flat out. Yeah, there he goes. Using full track width to stay essentially flat out. Let's keep an eye on him for one full hot lap around Monza. For those of you that don't know Monza is the fastest circuit on the F1 calendar. So these cars will actually, if driven at the limit, will most likely hit their speedometer limit on the front straight there. Going into turn 3, which is a very gentle right-hander, which in these cars, you can be flat out. The aerodynamics will help you maintain incredible amounts of grip through it. But the tricky part is coming up next is turn 4 and 5. Roja does a good job on the first curb, second curb. Good use of... Oh, no! kind of goes a little wide there, but that could have been lag actually, because he looked like he was heading out right, and then he just suddenly spiked and turned left. Not sure what happened there, but the thing with online racing is there's always an element of lag, and that can kind of make things a little spicy in a situation where you're literally bumper to bumper someone. More car noise. Okay. Whoops. I apologize, folks. It just turns like I had the game noise turned down. My apologies. It's also practice for me, I suppose. That should. Thanks for the notification there, Zardi. Again, if you're just joining our stream, folks, this is the event number 3 on Monza. We are currently in the practice session. There's Jordan decides to take the penalty through the turn number 1 chicane. But we're still currently in practice. Drivers are getting used to their cars, the setups, and the track conditions. So nothing here really matters. They're just getting used to playing around with the cars. At around 8:35 Eastern, we'll switch over the server to the official qualifying for race number 1. There are 2 races, as mentioned in the intro. Race number 1 is graded based on the qualifying results, and how you finish in race number 1 determines your gridding in race number 2, but in reverse. So if you finish in first place in race number 1, you will start in 10th place, and the second place finisher in race number 1 will start in 9th place in race number 2. So just to spice things up a little bit and make some people claw their way back up. Looks like, we have a little bit of fight up there, and Pedro spins out. Ooh! And Jordan narrowly avoids him. We're still getting a lot of drivers hopping onto the server right now, so you'll see a few people hop in and out. Again, practice session, nothing really matters. Jordan looks like he's just pulling over himself. Probably getting a new car. Yep, and he does. Let's hop in with Duster here. He's chasing down Pedro Henrique. Again, this is not a race, this is just practice, so nobody really should be duking it wheel to wheel, but they look like they're trying to find the best line through Biasono, turn 3. Going into Roja. Oh, it might be a little wide here on exit. No, he pulls it through. Little wide. Oh no, he pulls it through. Initially, I thought he was going possibly a little wide. Second part of Lesmo pulls through quite nicely. The thing with these cars on this track is that they've got the aerodynamics for the high-speed sections, but turns 1, the first chicane and second chicane essentially are very, very slow, so it makes for a very challenging twist for this car. Going through Ascari, the fastest chicane of the 3. Full use of the curb on the exit, great. Oh, and he decides to pull over. Okay, let's hop in. Oh, he decides to get a new car. Let's hop in with Nathan Hodgins. We haven't seen him tonight. Going in through Lesmo. Nathan Hodgins actually races with the Ontario Time Attack in a white STI. It's a beautiful car. And he's been doing a lot of work this past summer, or this past winter, and into the 2020 Ontario Time Attack season. So it'll be good to see him back out on track in real life once we get past out of this COVID situation. Going in through the final straight before Parabolica. And down the front straight. Into turn 1, one of the slowest chicanes. Got to use the full curb on the right. That way it maximizes your wide open throttle time, essentially. And into turn 3. Turn 3 is actually really a long right-hand sweeper, so more throttle you can put out of turn 2, the better you can go into Roja with a full head of steam. That's the second chicane coming right up. And good use of the curb on exit. Going into Lesmo, turns 5. Good use of the curb there again. Again, Monza is one of those tracks where almost all the curbs are your friends, so mount them and just use them to maintain mechanical grip and power out through everything, really. That's how it gets the moniker of being the fastest track on the F1 calendar. Well, if you guys want to watch, hop on with Miles. Where is he? He's currently sitting in the pits, unfortunately. If you see a name with the letter P in it, he's in the pits, so... I don't know what Miles is doing. He's probably tweaking the car a little bit, so... We'll hop in with someone that's actively driving. Actually, we'll hop back in with Nathan Hodgins. Again, folks, if you're just joining us, welcome to event number 3 on Monza with the Ontario Time Attack e-racing series, Overtake the Apex. We're currently just about in overtime for the practice session, so we should be switching over into qualifying any minute now, probably in the next couple minutes. Folks, this is just strictly practice right now, so guys are still getting used to the setup, the cars, and track conditions. So just playing around, essentially, getting used to the conditions. But looks like Nathan Hodgins is pulling over. Yep, looks like everyone's just trying to get back to the pits and get ready for the qualifying session, which is most likely about to kick in. On board here with Stefan Bullock. Let's take a look and see how he does. Oh boy, I'm not sure what happened there. Folks, as we switch over to qualifying, let's have a quick word from one of our sponsors. Welcome back, folks. Source server is just switching back over to qualifying. Our drivers have just essentially taken a quick break. So there's going to be a bit of a lag in the action right now. So we're just going to have another quick word from one of our sponsors.
All of those miles, all of those hours, the late nights, the planning, the preparation, they all come down to this. That one perfect lap. build the car, you win the race.
For Mr. Alex Lee, Super Impreza in
NV Auto, building champions since 2010.
Welcome back, folks. We're just entering in qualification. Folks are just still in the pits. There's about a 15-minute session currently for qualifications. So this is where it does matter. Guys will be getting in times. You're trying to get a good lap time in and see what they can grid out of 23 cars for tonight's main event. Let's see if anyone's... Currently on board here with Joseph Yang. Let's see, he's just leaving the pits and see what he does. Joseph Yang is currently driving the Trackside Autosport car, so custom livery is supported by our server. So if you guys want to race with us and have your own custom cars, feel free to join us and send us your livery. Oh, Joseph overshoots, goes in way too hot into turn 1. So he's gonna change cars. Let's hop in with Shane Shepard here. Again, everyone's on their outlap for their qualifying sessions. Actually, sorry, I've just been told there was a server issue, so we're actually still in just less than 5 minutes of practice, and then we should be going to qualification. So, still some time for our drivers to play around with. Ooh, that's a good example of a bad entry back to hot track. But Shane manages to avoid that expertly. On board here, going through turn 3, via Sono, which leads into 4 and 5, which is Sec Chicane Roggio. Ooh, good use of curb on the first two. Oh, may have bitten off more curb than he wanted on the second one. So that's sent the car flying. Again, this is strictly still in practice. There's only about 3 minutes left in practice, and we'll be switching over to qualification shortly. So this doesn't really count. Folks are still getting used to playing around with their car setups essentially. So this is really playing with house money at this point. For those of you just joining us, welcome to event number 3 of Ontario Time Attack Overtake the Apex e-racing series. We are a weekly series running every Thursday at 8 for the main event and every Tuesday at 8 Eastern for our qualification race. We've had overwhelming support from all of you viewers and competitors, so thank you very much for making us a great success. This is our first season, so we're still figuring out quite a few things, but you guys have given us great feedback. Love the series. We love you back. So thank you for all the support. Don't forget to hit like and smash the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell button also to be notified of additional content such as streams and more videos. We occasionally have special guests for interviews. So, well, here comes Shane Shepard going in for one hot lap, still in practice though. Going to turn 1. Good exit on turn 1, flat out into 3. Again, with these BMW Z4 GT4s, they've got a lot of aerodynamics, so they should be able to handle these long sweepers where it's got incredible speeds with great amounts of mechanical grip. May have eaten a little bit more curb on the first one compared to the second one like last time, but going into Lesmo, first part pinches more than the second one, so it's a little, but he does that very well. And going into second corner of Lesmo, nice use of the curb on exit. Going in through a slight left-hander known as Seraglio, which is not actually listed as an official turn, but the fans call it Seraglio curve. Coming into the faster chicane, Ascari. good use of the curb and flat out, yep, going into the final straight before the trickiest part of the track, signature turn of Monza, curva parabolica. It is an increasing radius turn, so it initially feels tight, but it opens up wonderfully to the left. And whoever hits the gas, gets on the gas earlier, is essentially going to win the race by gaining crazy amounts of speed going that front straight. For these cars, they should actually get close to or actually top out their speedometers coming down that massive long straight. Monza is the fastest circuit on the F1 calendar, so these cars should be able to get to some ridiculous speeds with it. Let's hop in with a different driver. We currently have Doug Newman. Let's take a see what he does. Going into Parabolica. And looks like Doug just reset. So yeah, we got a few drivers essentially resetting and essentially trying to get fresh cars for another practice session.
Since 1945, Toyo Tires has been making quality products. It doesn't matter where you go or what you do. There's a Toyo adventure for those who dare to dream.
Looks like those tires are well tested.
Hey Matt, let's play!
For your drive, dare to dream. Toyo Tires.
Don't forget, folks, Toyo Tires currently has a spring sale. Save up to $70 off select sets of 4 tires from Toyo Tires. Check them out at toyotires.ca/special-offers for more details. Again, that's $70 off select sets of 4 tires. Okay, going back on to the main event with Nathan Hodgins. Again, we're still currently in practice. There was some technical difficulties with some people trying to join the server, so just waiting for people to collect in, and then we can quickly start going into qualifying. Nathan Hodgins is chasing down Joseph Yang, who did set a previous practice best at a minute 49, a low minute 49. But Nathan seems to be just, again, this is practice, so he's probably just trying to gap himself to give himself plenty of space there. Let's hop in with someone else here. Oh, here we go. We're on board now with Joseph Yang. Joseph Yang is driving the Trackside Autosport car. We do support custom liveries on the server and the race session. So if you do want to pretty up your car or personalize it, we do support that in our series. Find out more by checking us out on Facebook or Instagram, and we will help sort you out there. Coming through Parabolica and down the front straight. Oh, Joseph seems to be going through turn 1 really, really slow. Not sure what's going on there. So it looks like we are currently, the server has switched over to qualification mode. So guys are trying to get their best laps in. So they are currently all in their out laps, trying to get a fast lap in, which does matter into gridding then. while everyone decides to finish their outlaps, we'll have a quick word from one of our sponsors.
All of those miles, all of those hours, the late nights, the planning, the preparation, they all come down to this. That one perfect lap. We'll build the car, you win the race.
For Mr. Alex Lee, Super Impreza in
NV Auto, building champions since 2010.
Welcome back, folks. So, guys have been rocking in some good qualification times. Stefan Neoven has posted a current pole position at a minute 48.684. So guys are really starting to dial in their cars with just under 10 minutes left in qualification. So let's see what Stefan does going in. That still didn't manage to top his best, but that's still a minute 48.88, which is incredibly quick. Leaving turn 2, going into Biasono. Full head of steam there. And into Roja. Great use of the curb there. Going first part of Lesmo. Tucks in quite nicely, wonderful apex, and full use of curb again. Monza is a very friendly, has very friendly curb, so full use of them will allow you to essentially flat out through all the corners as early as possible. Going through the fastest corner, the fastest chicane Ascari. And coming down the final straight before going through the track's signature turn, Parabolica. Coming down the front straight. Seems like our live chat wants to hop on with Newman, so I'll hop in with Newman just after this. Coming down the front straight, let's see if... Nope, Stefan did not get a new personal best, so we'll hop in with Doug Newman here. Folks, if you're just joining us, welcome to event number 3 for Ontario Time Attack's e-racing series, Overtake the Apex. Our competitors are currently in qualification, so the leaderboard you see on the left there does matter. It will actually set your grid position for race number 1. There's currently less than 7 minutes left in qualification. So folks are trying to get clean laps in. Some people are going in and out of the pits to change their setup a little bit. Even though it is a spec series Z4 GT3, they are allowed to change their tire pressures. They're allowed to change their alignment. So there's still some tweaking involved. Oh, it looks like Jordan Bazugli has posted a minute 48.616, and he's currently sitting in pole. Doug Newman is going in through Roja. Let's hop in on board with him and see what he does at the wheel. Folks, if you'd like me to focus on a driver... Oh, Samuel Sousa takes a spill. Managed to stay out of the way of Doug Newman. Folks in the live chat, if you guys want me to hop in with a driver, call it out by all means. you're watching, so I am more than happy to help you guys hop in with the driver you guys want to. Going in through Ascari, fastest chicane of the track. And last straightaway before the track signature turn, Parabolica. Again, this turn is really tricky because it's an increasing radius turn. It's tight initially, but as you unwind and put that power down, that really rewards you in that final front straight. And races have been lost here, folks. If you don't put the power down early, then you're not going to be winning the race. So it looks like Connor Riley is saying Miles Quartermain or Owen Howell. Let's see. I don't see them necessarily. They may not have been joining the circuit. We'll try to find them. So if guys are still hopping in and out of the pits, essentially, if they're confident about their qualifying times, there's just under 4 minutes and 40 seconds left in qualification. Let's hop in with Stefan Bullock. Oh, Imani. Oh, Sousa's here. Sousa's on the track. We can certainly hop in with Sousa. Samuel Sousa. Currently sitting in 13th place. Miles is Q. Okay, I will hop in after we get out of a hot lap with Sousa. He is entering Parabolica, so there should be I should have time to hop in with Miles there. Going into turn 1, Variante. Ooh, may have gone a little too much right there. Just over 3.5 minutes left in qualifying. Let's hop in as per YouTube request. Let's hop in with Miles Q. There you go, folks. We can watch him for a full lap because he's just entering Parabolica and going to the front straight. Thomas William is saying, can you show Miles Q showing support from across the country? That's amazing. And Enviado is saying he's just here to cheer for Paulie Todd. We'll get plenty of time to see them in the actual race, folks. Miles goes into turn 1 and comes out turn 2 fairly clean. Going down Seraglio. Obiasono, sorry. And let's see how he handles Roja. Good, clean entry and exit. Full use of the curb on the left. For those of you that have never driven on Monza, the curbs here are actually extremely friendly and allow you to actually put down as much power as possible on exit. However, it looks like Miles may have gone a little wide there, and he's probably pitting to get a new car. Yep. So we'll quickly hop in with Imani. I will not try to butcher his last name. I'll just call him Imani. He's starting a fresh lap, so there's just under 2 minutes left in qualification here. So let's see how Imani does. Going super hot in turn 1. Let's see what he does. Heavy braking down to first. And folks, for those of you that don't know Imani, I've been told that he's currently actually driving with a controller and not a actual steering wheel. So that's pretty damn impressive. Going into Roja, super hard on the brakes, mounting that curb, and making full use of the left curb there for flat out. There you go. Imani is currently sitting in 8th place, so he's just about 0.7 seconds behind our pole there at a minute 48.551. So he's probably hitting a high 49, low 49s. For those of you that didn't follow us on Facebook or Instagram, for qualifications based on sheer time, you had to score a low minute 49 to crack into the top 12 for qualifications based on time. We also have a second stream which happens on Tuesdays, which we allow people essentially have a mini race, and the top 10 for those race join into the final event for Thursdays. Going into Parabolica, will Imani get a new personal best for qualification? It's going to be tight, folks. Oh no, just a little shy. A minute 49.245. Currently into overtime for qualification. What that means is if you're still on a very hot lap, the server will not cut out qualification on you. So let's see. Let's hop in with Doug Newman, who's currently sitting in 5th. He's going in through the final straight before Parabolica, and he looks like he's on a decent pace. So we'll see if he gets a new personal best and moves up a spot. Val Di Pietro is currently in 4th, so Doug might dethrone Val and move up further the grid. Oh, unfortunately, I don't think Doug... Nope, Doug does not pull a new... He actually does pull a new personal best, but unfortunately not enough to dethrone Val in 4th place. And Doug is just pulling over the side because that was his best lap. And let's see... Val Di Pietro is still coming in through Parabolica. He has a chance to get a new personal best here. Let's see what he does. A minute 48. So unfortunately, that is not his new personal best, but he solidifies 4th. So everyone's just slowing down, getting ready for the actual race. While we're doing that, let's have a word from one of our sponsors. Welcome back, folks. So it looks like we're just switching over to race mode. So looks like our top 10 are Stefan Niegovan, Jordan Zugli, Jay Wen, Val Di Pietro, Doug Newman, Stefan Bullock, Joseph Yang, Nathan Hodgins, Imani M, and Miles Q. So the race is about to start in 20 seconds. Let's hop over and see how. Oh, we have some action in the back there because someone had a poor launch. Going into turn 1. Big crowd here, folks. Big crowd. But pretty clean on 1. A little bit nudging there, but nothing major. Nobody's crashed out. Big train there. Very, very good spacing amongst all the drivers, looks like. Stevan is holding on to first. Oh, looks like someone went through Rogia hot, but top in with Jay Wen, who's in the thick of it with 3 other cars near him. Oh, Jay! Unfortunately, Jay gets spun out there. Very tight action here, essentially from 5th through 8th. A lot of cars going in. Through Ascari, very fast chicane here. Let's see how everyone goes side by side into it. Ooh. Miles takes the inside on Parabolica and moves up a spot. Chasing down 6th place in Nathan Hodgins. Great exit by Miles there. Shane Shepard, yeah, essentially Shane Shepard, Monty, and the rest of the pack are very tightly behind him. So let's see how Miles holds him off on turn 1. Taking the oh no, he goes back on the outside for turn 1. Yeah, Shane has gained some ground, and that entry may have cost Miles a little bit. Let's hop in with Shane Shepard right behind him. He's right up on him. I'm trying to draft him. Let's see how if Shane can use any effect of that into Rogia. Nope, Shane decides to tuck in. Back behind Miles. Play it safe. There's still over 12 minutes left in this race, so Shane's decided not to gamble it all for one position into 7. Folks, if you're just joining us, welcome to event number 3 on Monza at Ontario Time Attack E-Racing Series. This is event number 3. They are currently in race number 1. So it looks like most of our drivers essentially spread out into a one long snake there, going in through Monza, going through Ascari there, Shane Shepard, trying to gain some ground there on Miles, but may have ate a little bit more curb than he should have. But let's see what he does on Parabolica. Races have been won or lost here, folks. So, and Shane looks like he's trying to dive on the inside, but decides to tuck right back behind Miles. Tight initially, but it opens up beautifully. Let's see if he can put the power down before Miles does. Oh, Miles goes really wide. Shane may have him. Yes, Shane does have him. Is gaining on Miles and takes him on the inside. But is that enough to hold off Miles? Yep, he's right side by side there with Miles. Let's see what... and Miles is slowly starting to gain back up. Not sure what happened to Shane there, but Shane concedes the inside, tucks back to behind Miles. Oh, no. Yeah, oh, and Owen really dive bombs there, but Shane saw him coming. Not sure what happened to Shane there on the front straight. He should have had the acceleration on Miles, but might have either bounced off the rev limiter or something like that. Let's check in with the bottom of the pack there and see if there's any fights happening down there as well. On board here with Michael Morbetto. He's that car's seen some better days on the back there. But chasing down Philip Oliveira, and everyone seems to be pretty spread out here, so not much happening here. Going through Rogia. Daniel Sanbanez has just made a move up into 10th place, overtaking Daniel Kokar, I think. There may have been a crash involved. There's a bunch of people just moved up. Going up Seraglio curve into the fastest chicane. Ascari. Good use of the left curve there. Staying tight on the right. And should be flat out through this. And he does. Oh, looks like we got a crash up front. Joseph Yang has taken a spill on the front, on the back straight there. So he's dropping fast there. Going in through Parabolica. See how he takes that. Nice. Flat out on the exit. possibly a little bit late on the gas there. And how, yeah, he managed to build himself quite a decent gap there between him and Daniel Kokar. Let's hop back in with Jordan Mazzogli in second place, chasing down Stefan. Stefan's really been driving a very good race, keeping it clean, and has not made any gambles, so he's holding on to first place. But Jordan Mazzogli has been keeping it clean as well, and seems to be holding the same delta relatively to Stefan. Val Di Pietro has moved up. Remember, he gridded in fourth at qualifying, so he's moved up past Hodgins into third. So he's slowly hunting down the top two there. So Mazzogli goes into Ascari. Looks like Val actually might be gaining on Mazzogli there. Let's hop on board with Val. The top three leaders are a good amount distance ahead of the rest of the pack, as Nathan Hodgins sits at 12 seconds behind Stefan Njegovan. Yep, looks like Njegovan and Mazzogli. Wow. In race conditions, Stefan has posted a minute 49. So while he did qualify first, that's still pretty impressive considering how much traffic there was initially into turn one. Here, let's chase down Stefan and see how he does through Biasono and into Roja. Good use of the curb on the exit there. Going to the first part, Lesmo. Second part coming up, and he's very nice apex, flat out through the curb, full use of it, beautiful. Looks like he's actually spread the gap out between Mazzogli and Njegovan. So going in through Ascari. Look at that use of the curb, folks. Full mount and track out all the way. For those of you who've never driven on a sort of course, the bars at the bottom, the green bar is the accelerator pedal and the red bar are the brakes. Unfortunately, we don't have any steering wheel action, which is the gray bar. But we can hop in on board and see what he's actually doing with the steering. Oh, it looks like Alex Chong is having a good fight there with Stefan Bullock. Let's hop in with him. And he's also being heavily chased by ONH. This is a good battle. Let's stick with these three. Hey. Yep. Okay, look folks, I think we've got the stream fixed. Sorry about that, looks like we had some internet connection issues. You should be able to see it. We're still on board here with Alex Ho, I believe. Hopping on board with Nathan Hodgins. Val DiPietro is still in third in race number 1. There's currently 3 minutes and 30 seconds left. So this is race number 1. Your finishing order in race number 1 will determine how you grid in race number 2 in reverse, however. So you finish first in race number 1, which Stefan is currently in position to. He will start in 10th place. So, and then if you finish second, you start in 9th. So the top 10 get reverse gridded into race number 2. It looks like essentially the top 3 are still in decent contention with each other. So let's hop in with Val DiPietro chasing down Jordan Bazugli and Stefan Negoivan. They're all entering into turn 1. Val's closed the distance in on Bazugli. Let's see if he can gain any of that. Nope, he looks like he had a little bit of issue there on the gas out there. Jordan's pulling away. Yep. But Roja might have a word with these 3 drivers and see if the pressure is getting onto Jordan. Oh, a little bit of backfire there. But unfortunately, I think Val might actually have some issues. He's not really seemingly putting down the power as quickly as Jordan is. Jordan seems to be really pulling away. Or at least pulling away initially on the exits. Let's hop in with Jordan, see if he's making any ground on Stefan. No, Stefan's actually piling on the gap. He was at one point a 2-second delta between Stefan and Jordan, but folks, there's just under a minute left in race number 1. So once the clock expires at 0 minutes, essentially, once Stefan crosses the finish line, he will essentially end the race. Let's hop in further down the pack here. Looks like Adrian Cesanaro and Sam Sousa are having a good battle there for 10th place. Samuel's trying to fend him off. We are probably in the last lap, folks, the last lap of the race. So as soon as Samuel and Adrian cross the finish line there, they will be on their last lap. Adrian's making a move on the inside. Let's see if he really outbreaks. Oh no, he's taking a conservative route. Samuel has managed to hold him off. There's still a pack behind Adrian, so there's a good battle going on here, folks. Going into Roja. really mounting those curbs. A desperate attempt to move up to 10th place to dethrone Samuel Sousa there. Oh, looks like someone spun out there, so everyone's moved up a spot. Looks like that was Daniel Coker that's took a spill there, unfortunately. Okay, officially, Stefan Nguyen has won the race, and followed by Jason Mazzugli and Val Di Pietro. So let's hop back in with Nathan Hodges coming in. Yep, Hodges finishes 4th. Let's hop back in that 10th place battle there with Samuel Sousa. Final turn, Parabolica. Races have been won or lost here, so let's see what happens. Now, unfortunately, Adrian has not made any ground on him through Parabolica. But Sam's managed to defend that lead quite well and finishes. Woohoo! Decides to take a drift there, just to show it off a little bit more. So there you have it, folks. Stefan Nguyen, Jordan Mazzugli, Val Di Pietro, Nathan Hodgins, and as we cut to Owen H finishes in 5th. Miles Q finished in 6th. Daniel Santibanez finished in 7th. Alex Chong, followed by Samuel Sousa and Adrian Cesanaro. For race number 2, essentially the top 10 you see here will be reverse gridded. So Adrian will start in the pole and Stefan will start in 10th position. The rest of the pack will start the way they finished. So we got a quick 30-second countdown, and we will hop in on board and take a look and see what's... There we go. Here comes the countdown. And let's see if anyone has a poor launch and might cause a few wrecks right off the bat. Ooh, Sam Sousa really goes sideways there, but managed to hang on there. Cesanaro is still in 1st. Going into turn 1, let's see if there's any chaos going through here, folks. Yep, we've got one car, one casualty. Hopping back in with Cesanaro. Let's see. He's managed to pull away from the rest of the pack. Let's check out Sam Sousa in the middle of the pack there. Yep. So still a decent amount of gap between the 4th and 3rd, but he's really chasing down Alex Chong. Adrian has taken a little spill coming out of Roja and loses 1st place there. So Alex Chong goes back to goes to 1st, and Sam Sousa is now in 2nd. Stefan has actually managed to climb from 10th all the way back to 3rd in less than a lap, folks. This is pretty crazy. So he managed to survive the calamity through turn 1 and climb up 7 positions into 3rd. Sam is trying to desperately defend that 2nd place, but Stefan's really pushing him going in through Parabolica. He's taking the inside. Let's see what happens. And that's a bold move. Let's see if he can outbrake Sam. So Sam decides to just come right in front of him, but doesn't officially cut him off. So not quite a block per se. Tries to draft behind Sam Sousa and going to turn 1. Will he outbrake? Nope. He tucks back behind Sam. Looks like the rest of the pack, thanks to those battles, the rest of the pack is slowly catching up to the top 3 leaders here, folks. Looks like Stefan's overtaken Sam Sousa. He's now chasing out Alex Chong. There's a huge pack right behind him going to Roja. Let's see what happens. Sam's actually duking out more with Miles, so that leaves Stefan plenty of opportunities there with just under 10 minutes left just over 10 minutes left in the race to hunt down Alex Chong. Looks like Sam Sousa has conceded third place to. Yep, he's lost third place to Miles Q. So well done, Miles there. But turn 1 is going to be interesting. Let's see what happens. Jordan Mazzocchi has put the fastest race lap in at 1:50. Well off the qualifying times, but that's a big train right behind Miles there. Nathan Hodgins, Sam Sousa, and Jay Wen, I believe. Going into Roja. Still keeping it clean. Oh boy, we got a little collision there between Sam Sousa and Jay Wen. That might be incidental contact there, but they were going side by side into Roja. Going to the second part of Lesmo. Very good, very clean there through Ascari there by Miles, and he holds on to it. So Nathan Hodgins has overtaken fourth place from Sam Sousa. Oh, Sam Sousa just drops another position to Jay Wen. This is a really tight battle here. Let's hop on board with Sam Sousa. Oh, takes the inside on Fireball. Oh, bout hits Jay Wen there. Jay managed to hold on to the track. But that might have been a bit of a questionable move there by Sam to knock Jay off. He did go in hot in that corner and unfortunately could not hold the braking. Or Jay may have also turned into him. But Jay drafts him and decides to... Yep, drafts him and takes him on the inside on turn 1. But let's see if he... No. Oh! Sam may have turned into Jay there, and that may have cost both of them their positions. Oh, Sam's probably done, unfortunately, there. Daniel Kokar has taken advantage of that and moved up into 5th place. Unfortunately, he did not finish race number 1 due to a crash, but he's taking advantage of race number 2 and moving up to 5th. For those in the chat who are cheering on Miles, oh, looks like Stefan has overtaken Alex Chong. Let's see if Alex can fight that back. Oh, getting really aggressive there, chasing down Stefan and goes sideways, and Stefan builds on what has essentially been a perfect race from him. Essentially, he finished first last time by essentially running a perfect race by keeping it clean, and has kept it very clean and made it very, very hard for everyone to catch him. And that's how he's been climbing up the ladder and moved from 10th place, now currently in 1st. Yeah, Stefan's really pulling away from him. Let's see if Alex can make any ground there on Parabolica. Daniel Kokar has actually moved up to 4th place. So Jay has really had a big falling from grace there from 3rd all the way down to 5th. Jay might be trying to draft Daniel and pass him on the front straight. Yep, he passed him on the front straight, but will he have enough room to go back in front of him for the braking zone into 3rd? Nope, he holds his line, so interesting. But Daniel plays it clean, and the two go through turn 1 without incident. Folks, there's just over 7 minutes left in this race, so still plenty of time. Lots of time to make mistakes. And Val Di Pietro has climbed from 8th to 6th. in just a single swipe there. So not sure what happened there. Let's take a look at that. So Jordan Bazugli, not sure what happened to him there, but Jaldi Pietro jumped over him and Michael Morbetto into 6th. So Val is sneakily climbing back all the way back up. Again, folks, there's just under 6.5 minutes left, so plenty of time for mistakes to happen. On a high-speed, high-stakes course like Monza, which is the fastest circuit in the F1 calendar, one wheel on the grass and you're going to go sideways. So, yet somehow you still have to mount all the curbs to get as much speed as possible from all the turns. So, everyone seems to be spreading themselves out fairly well. Let's see, except for Alex Chong, has still managed to be just 2 seconds behind, 2.5 seconds behind Stefan Negoivan. So, but Stefan's been running a very, very clean race for race number 1 and number 2. Has just been nailing some really fast laps here. So, Alex might be in for a fight. Alex qualified by essentially winning the qualified creation race that happens on Tuesdays. We now have 2 streams per week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Thursday's the main event. Tuesday is actually a mini qualification race to grab one of 10 seats into Thursday's main event. So looks like nothing's really happening there with the top 3. Let's hop in with Michael Morbetto. He's chasing down Jordan Bazugli. Good exit there through turn 2. Going down to turn 3. Villasono. Long right-hander here. Plenty of chances to put down the power. Unfortunately, I've just been told that Miles has decided to drop out of the race. So unfortunately for the fans on the YouTube chat, he is no longer in the race. Going in through the first part of Lesmo. Oh, unfortunately, Bazugli has done that better than Michael, so he's pulling away. And now that little mistake is costing him time because Stefan Bullock is right behind him. Going through Ascari, let's see how they do. Ooh, Stefan may have made a mistake there by not fully mounting the curb, but Michael seemed to have had a worse exit. So they've managed to hold their gap fairly consistently. So trading mistakes for mistakes. But let's see what happens with Parabolica. Ooh, Stefan decides to take the inside. And Michael sees him. Gives him a little bit of room. And unfortunately, yep, he could not hold off. And drops position. So Bullock has now moved up to 8th. Morbetto is in 9th. And Bazugli is still a good chunk away. So let's hop in with Joseph Yang here, who's having a fight with Imani. Actually, no, sorry. Imani is 3 seconds behind Joseph, unfortunately. So not much of a fight happening here, but turn 1 is compressing the traffic in. So Joseph Yang has caught up to Michael Morbetto and Stefan Bullock that we were watching earlier. Going into Roja. Again, it's just over 2 minutes and 48 seconds left in this final race number 2. For those of you just joining us, welcome to Ontario Time Attack e-racing event number 3 at Monza. This is race number 2. The winners for race number 1, especially top 10, were reverse graded into race number 2. So Stefan Negoivan, who won the first race, has managed to climb from 10th back into first. So it's a crazy rise from 10th by essentially avoiding a lot of the traffic that went through turn 1. We had at least one car crash in turn 1 and running a really clean race. He's been running really a very, very clean race, folks. Here we go. He takes the inside of Michael Morbetto just like Stefan did. Michael is forced to stay on the outside, therefore preventing him from getting more and more gas. So therefore, yep, nope. Michael, yep, tucks into 10th. And Michael keeps conceding that inside corner on Parabolica, which really prevents him from putting the power down. And Joseph has taken advantage of that. But Michael is drafting Joseph and trying to make a move on the inside of turn 1. Let's see if that pays off. Oh, yeah, Joseph decides to... Oh, no, unfortunately... No, Michael had a really poor exit to turn 1. So Joseph, by staying clean, Joseph has managed to hold back, claw back into 9th place. Joseph is really trying to chase down... Joseph Yang there is really trying to chase down Stefan Bullock. So let's see if Stefan makes a mistake. There's just under a minute left, folks. Under a minute left in our race number 2, final race for the event. Nathan Hodges has just made a move and has climbed up on top of Jay Wen. So, wow, Alex Chong is really dropping down the position there. Unfortunately, he's down as low as 6th. So Val Di Pietro has made a push into 4th, going through Ascari. Let's see if he can get a podium finish. But he's still good. Yeah, he's still good, like almost 8 seconds behind Jay Wen there. So highly unlikely, but we'll see. So on board here with Stefan Negoivan. He's been running a very clean race, folks. So let's stay on board with him and see what a clean lap around Monza looks like. Yep, Stefan is currently on his final lap, so as soon as he crosses the finish line, everyone else should be finishing their races. Setting up for Roja. Heavy braking. And full curb use on exit. Very clean. Going through first part Lesmo, tap of the brake. And full curb again. Second part Lesmo, which is a little bit wider, so should be less braking. And yep, flat out on that curb. Going down Seraglio. Again, folks, this is his last lap. So once he crosses the finish line, he secures first place in second race as well. He finished first in the first race, started in 10th for the second race, and clawed his way all the way back up to first. Great move for Ascari. Going down the front, going down the back straight into Parabolica. Let's see how he takes this, folks. Heavy braking and great apex. Well, look at that! Look at that gas pedal. Really squeezing it gently and flat out through that corner. And he should be finishing. Yep, he finishes first. So that means Nathan Hodgins will be wrapping up second. Val Di Pietro has moved up to a podium position. He has actually taken third. Yep, he has taken third, followed by Daniel Kokar. Alex Chong has managed to claw his way back up. Jay Wen and Stefan Bullock. And looks like Imani, with the controller, is duking it out in the last bit there. Might be drafted. No. He has held on, barely holds on to 8th place. Morbetto takes 9th, and Samuel Sousa takes 10th. There you have it, folks. That's our top 10 for race number 2. Very almost down to the wire there between Imani and Morbetto. And Michael Puchik finishes 11th. So just a quick repeat, folks. Our winner for race number 2 is Stefan Negoivan. Nathan Hodgins finishes in second. Val Di Pietro claws to a podium position. And third, Daniel Kokar finishes in fourth. Alex Chong in fifth. Jay Wen in sixth. Stefan Bullock in seventh. Imani, on the controller, had a duke out with Michael Morbetto and claws in at eighth position. Ninth is Michael Morbetto. And now we are currently going to try to conduct some interviews with the drivers. So let me have a quick word from one of our sponsors, and I will try to grab the drivers, and we'll have a quick chat with them and see how it was like.
Don't be conventional.
Anthony Davis.
Be exceptional. Upgrade to Mobil 1 synthetic motor oil. It helps engines last over 250,000 miles.
Whoa. That's exceptional.
So is Mobil 1.
You own a lot of basketballs.
Yeah, I got a few.
Wow, it's getting me dizzy, man. Very nauseous. Have a good game.
Get 250,000 miles of protection. Upgrade to Mobil 1.
All right, folks, we've got the race number 1 and number 2 winner, Stefan Neuhoven. Congratulations, Stefan. That was a beautiful race there on race number 2 specifically, because you went from 10th place, managed to avoid quite the mess through turn 1. It looks like at least 2 cars crashed, and we had multiple impacts, but at least 2 cars went off track, and you managed to stay clean out through that and climb all the way back up to, I think, as high as 5th place in less than 1 lap. How did you wind up doing that?
I don't know. I guess I'm glad I survived. I just drove safe, tried to avoid what was around me. I didn't really see the crashing, so I guess that.
Oh, looks like Stefan, you need to push the talk. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep. You're
Sorry,
back.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of just tried to avoid what I saw. I didn't think I'd get up that quickly, but I didn't really see the crashes happening, so maybe that helped.
Right, that was a beautiful. If you rewatch the stream, I was just like, a lot of the people were just in shock. You just managed to climb up, I think, 6 positions within the first 4 corners. By Rogia, you were already up to 4th. And then on the other hand, we've got Valdi Petro, who didn't quite have a great race, who's our current points leader in the series, but didn't quite have a great race in race number 1, but clawed for a podium position in race number 2. What happened in race number 1 there, Val?
I'm not as fast as Steven, and I'm just not that good at this car. And Monza is not a particular favorite of mine. It took me a long time to figure out where to cut, where not to cut, where to run wide, and Parabolica is just still this puzzle in my head.
Well, if you want to get some tips from Stefan, you can always Steven there. His Parabolica was beautiful. Like you just ran a really consistent race there, Steven. That was wonderful.
I've put so many hours into this track.
Really? Care to tell us how many?
Well, mainly on a settle course at Competizione, but like quite a few, probably like 300.
Right, because there's a few times where when you overtook Alex Chong, unfortunately I couldn't grab him for an interview, but when you overtook him, Alex was really pushing it, and you can see his car just going sideways, and every time he made the tiniest mistake, you just kept pulling it away and away. It got to a point where it was kind of boring announcing the first place, so I wound up diving into the bottom of the pack there. But congratulations, great race.
Yeah, I gotta thank those guys for keeping it clean. Samuel and Alex, I mean, they're the only guys that I fought to pass, but they kept it very clean.
And you guys kept it clean through Parabolica, because a few times you took the inside, they took the outside, and nobody wound up really cutting in front of each other, so that was really good.
Yeah, it was a good change from public lobbies.
Yeah, glad to hear, and I hope to see you back for event number 4 next week.
Yeah, I will be there for sure.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
No problem.
I did a
clean race. So
Nice, yeah.
that was.
All right, there you have it, folks. That is the end of the race. So the real question is, did any of you really find our, find that driver challenge tonight, Patrick Alex? Now be sure to write that in the live chat or comment on the video by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for watching, everyone, and don't forget to give us a like, smash that subscribe button, and follow us on Facebook or Instagram to keep up with our latest social media details. And next week, we go to Northamptonshire, England for Silverstone Circuit. Don't forget, we have 2 streams per week. There's qualifying on Tuesday for Thursday's main event, and both happen at 8 p.m. Eastern. See you next week. Good night, and stay safe.